But I have a few like practical questions that's just
Yeah.
on this. And we spoke a couple of nights ago, maybe one, two, three, not sure.
Mhm.
Um, and I think this is just going to be like a follow up to that.
Yeah.
So, and this actually answers like Monica's question too. So the way that we decided to do it, because I was telling you what I was feeling into on the strategy that I wanted to use and what I wanted to use it for. I had to start trading. I didn't want to leave everything in BTC, and I wanted to find a coin to do both, to like short term trade and hold long term.
Mhm.
So I think we decided, um, like I did a 7 year stake, I did a 15-year stake, we did a 365-day stake, I did a short 2 week one, and then I think I kept like 250,000 worth of hex just unstaked, like unlocked, because I wanted to use a percentage for just to trade, just to cash out, like when I saw it coming up. So those were just like the starting amounts, like because I was getting used to the wallet and I was like, I just don't want to lose like another, like I just that was the call with Colleen. I was like, I put like a couple hundred in here. I'm not sure where it went because I didn't press a couple of buttons. I didn't want to do that again and then like dump more money in it and
Yeah.
not be able to recover it. So now that I'm clear on that, and we traded the Heath and the ETH and we put it in the MetaMask wallet. So I was looking to go in and convert more today, and then I saw like from our chat, it's 30% up, like from our chat, and I'm like, oh, okay. So wait, what do I do now? I have what's unstaked in there.
Mhm.
Where it's at right now, what would you recommend for me to do personally, knowing that I still want to put some more in? Because we only put, I think I only locked up like 250,000 worth of hex,
Mhm.
250,000 units of hex, not 250,000 worth. What would you then do if I want to just double up that amount? Because I told you I had X amount that I wanted to use for hex for my altcoin.
Mhm.
Um, I haven't moved it out of Ether yet and put it here. Like, what would you recommend that I do?
So I think that you have some long-term stakes, so those are probably good to just to have. And for the amount that you didn't stake, like that's totally fine to not have some stake because, like, you know, someday like the price just run because it really doesn't take that much new money coming in to push the price up. So you definitely want to have some like if you have like like short-term goals with it too, which are like
Yeah.
great. Like short-term goals are just as good as long-term goals. Um, Definitely like have some on hand so that like you know if there's like a day where like you look at the chart and you're just like shocked and like it like blows your hair back, like those are like usually good times to like sell a little bit, especially if
What would be that number that you open up and see and that it shocks you that you would sell?
um let's look at the chart. Can you all see the chart? Can you see the numbers here? um so here I'm gonna look at the hex US dollar one. So right now it's at just over half of a cent. um and I'll be I think a lot of people, so this is how you have to think about it. When are other people going to be selling? Like, like, so a lot of the selling that's happened here right now, like, we, it hit, like just today, it hit like 60 or 0.62 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And this
I saw that.
was, I think right on this hex site, it shows like what percent X. So like it hit like 100x from like the bottom. So from like back in I think February was like the true bottom. So like back here it hit 100x, and so a lot of people like and we can even like you can even look at like who was selling and see when they bought, which is very interesting about Hex.
Mm.
Um, so probably a lot of this selling right here is people that were selling at the like 100x mark, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like great time, that's more than they've ever made on any trade in their life. um but so like kind of like round numbers like that, so maybe like, you know uh when everyone is saying like 200x, maybe that's another one that like a lot of people who, maybe got in, maybe didn't get in at the bottom, but they got in sometime over here where
Mm-hmm.
for them it was 100x, and then they
Mm-hmm.
want to sell. So like, but it's hard to tell because like, um, there's no price history to reference. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes it so hard to like really call the top, is because there's like nothing to base it on.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, do you see that there's a dip coming, or like, what is this just going to keep going up?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
what?
like that's like the multi-million, maybe multi-billion-dollar question, right? That's like, you know,
I'm
what,
asking.
yeah, and so um,
Exactly.
dips happen all the time, um, and like so here, um, let's measure the price. So like this big green candlestick right here, this was actually somebody who was like they were coins from a wallet that was created when Ethereum was created. So Ethereum is the blockchain platform that Hex runs on. It's like a multi-billion-dollar blockchain, and somebody who was involved in the creation of it put 10,000 Ethereum and just bought all the Hex they could. Like in a single transaction, they bought 10,000 worth of Ethereum of Hex at once, and just like in that moment the price doubled, and then that like ate up so much of the supply that was for sale that it really kind of kicked off this run where the price is going up really because there's just not many people that are selling. Like all the people that were ready to sell, a lot of them got eaten up right here. And so also when people see it go like double in price, they think that it's more likely to happen again, and so even less people want to sell. But when price kind of went from there to here, it had like a 300% gain, and then from there it had a 40% loss. And then what's good about like these dips happen all the time. Like when people are trading anything, like you see this in Hex, you see it in Bitcoin, you see it in in like commodities like rice, like the markets where people are trading, like barrels of rice. You see it in oil, like every market, it follows it's called a push exhaustion cycle. And that's where, like there's buyers in the market and they, push the price up. And then once the buyers run out of energy, the buyers run out of money to buy with, then, and the price goes up, then people that have the thing, the sellers enter the market. And so, all the people that think it's a fair price to sell during this time, they enter the market and start selling, and that pushes the price down. And then, the once all the people that think it's a fair price to sell between this range, so between this like 40% range, once there were no more sellers left and there were now more buyers coming in than sellers, you see another push. And and then once there's sellers enter the market, you see one of these other exhaustions. And so like probably it's hard to call the tops and bottoms. um and so like for selling, um you know it's really just a matter of like picking a number that you're comfortable with. And like because if you're selling, like you should be you know confident in that. And like when you're selling, you want to be able to use that money for something else. And so like even if you sell and price continues to go up, um, it's usually okay because if price just keeps running, like there's always opportunities to buy in at dips. And so like on this first dip that happened a couple weeks ago, price went up, from this point 300%, then dipped 40%. And it's just how like the math works. But um, like you see these, like you see these, like these arrows right here, where going down from this level to this level, it's a 40% dip. But when you buy in, like if you were to have bought the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
when it gets back to that level, it's actually a 65% gain. And so, like, the upside of catching dips is actually greater than the downside of, or it's greater than the upside of selling the top. So, like, selling it, like you should sell when you feel the need to, and when like you want to sell when the price is going up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like even if you sold and it continued to go up, as long as you like made a profit from like your investment, that's a win. That's better than most people. And when you're looking to buy in, again, like you want to look for days like this. So like I would like go to this chart, and you know if we appear to be moving in a strong uptrend, which we are, um, like you want to just kind of be on the lookout for days where there's like a big red candle, like days where like price has gone down. And
Mm-hmm.
like those are days you should kind of like focus in and decide that like you want to buy on this day. And
Mm-hmm.
then if you zoom in closer on the chart, um, you can actually see these waves of buyers and sellers. And um, what you're looking for are signs of trend reversal. So this is that big dip. This is that big 40% dip right here. So
Mm-hmm.
here the price went down 40%. Um, so like, and it came in these like really big waves of sellers. So like, this big wave of sellers, there's like a push followed by an exhaustion, then another push to the downside. The sellers kind of got tired, buyers entered in. Then when they pushed the price up, more sellers entered the market. And then you see the sellers kind of losing energy here. Like, you don't know what the next trade's going to be, but you can kind of see like, what you can see here is that like, there hasn't been a big sell order yet, and new buyers are stepping in. And so patterns that you can look for on the chart are points where the price has hit more than once. So right here, um, like price hit this level, bounced back up, price hit that level again and didn't break through. And so like this person who bought here, like this massive buy order, or it's probably a bunch of people, like they're looking at the chart, looking for signs that the sellers have run out of energy. That the sellers, like all the people that think that it's a good idea to sell hex within this range, those people have run out of hex to sell. Because if they had more hex to sell, they'd keep selling. And so like you want to look for things like that where it's like evidence that sellers are running out of money to sell. And then like even like this big push upwards, what that means is that like buyers are think this is a good price because like these buyers are buying this up, buyers are buying it up more here, and then these buyers push it up way more. And so like that would be a good entry, like after like a really big downturn, like the first you try to find someone. This doesn't always happen, like this isn't like a certain thing, it's just like a common thing. But like if you see that like price hit the same level and bounced off it twice, and it was followed by like a massive move upwards, that's actually like a low risk area to actually buy in, because like you have evidence that this trend is reversing because the sellers ran out of energy. They couldn't push past this level. And then buyers started coming in and filling that up. And so that's probably how you want to approach the dips, is like, days where like you don't want to spend all your time looking at the charts, because you like, but days where you see like days where it's red, or maybe you can zoom in on like the 6 hour chart. um, like when you see a bunch of red in a row, that's when you should start like getting your wallet set up so you can get ready to buy.
Because what I feel like I'm gonna do is, I told you. Well, we spoke a little bit in detail about this, and I do want to use it as income, kind of similar to pre-search, because I was looking at it and I was looking at its potential.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm just playing around with that, and I just want to just make sure that the timing is aligned. But there's not a lot of data, like you said, there's not a lot of data on this, and so there's no way to really like look at it and map it.
Yeah,
Um,
and there will be some events in Hex that like, just like as this like rollout period comes to an end over the year, um, like there's some things that are kind of working against the price of Hex. Like the amount of new Hex that's created every day, it's actually like it's like 0.3% per day. Like after the launch period, that new Hex per day is going to be 0.01%. So the what is that like? There's going to be 30 times less in daily inflation. So like price is going, so, but that's like a strong sign, because even though there's a lot of inflation going on right now, because it's like in the middle of the launch, the price is still going up a lot. And so that's like a strong sign. But because there's so much supply that's being issued every day, um, once like, you know, price stops going up. So the other thing I'm looking for, I'm not necessarily looking for like a dollar number. I'm looking for some type of shape like this on the chart. Um, on like the daily chart, I'm looking for something like this, where it goes up like crazy. Like I look where like you wake up and like look at the chart and you want to like throw up because you're so shocked, followed by like a massive downturn,
mm,
followed by a another rally here that doesn't reach this level, like kind of the same thing we were looking at on that, like down there at this bottom. Like we want to look for signs of this trend coming to a close, where like everyone who had money to buy in has bought, and maybe like people are buying in with like crazy amounts of money. And like once like a lot of beginners really latch onto this, like right now, like pretty much only people that already know about cryptocurrency are in
mhm.
Hex. But like as soon as like your your Uber driver or the person giving you a haircut, or like your grandma starts like saying, oh, you got to buy Hex, like maybe that's like those are signals too that it's like towards the later stage of this rally. And so you want to look for like a big trace back, like something literally like like another like big like 40% trace back. And then on this like follow on rally, you want to look for signs that the price is doesn't have enough energy to move up further. So like maybe something like um, price kind of like tries to hit higher, it can't, gets batted back down, and then it tries again and goes even lower. Like if there's like strong signals by the market that the buyers are running out of energy, that's probably when I want to sell.
Mm.
Because like you don't want to sell in like a strong uptrend, because you don't really need to sell the top, and very few people actually sell the top. Like even if you look at today's chart on the really short term like timeline, like right here, like price hit this peak. So when you look at the chart, like you can see the price went really high. But if you like even zoom into like the 1 minute, so here I zoomed in like all the way. Price was only at this point for less than 3 minutes. Like price only hit this, and so like it's very difficult to buy the or to sell the top. Like only one person is at the top if you really think about it, and so you don't need to really like sell the top. Um, but you want to look for evidence that like you know price is just like running out of energy to the upside.
Okay, cool, perfect. I had another question about leveraging Nexo, but I think that I'm gonna just maybe put that in the chat since you're on Hex. But I'm gonna jump off. But thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Thanks for joining us.